Welcome to Learned and Go-Go, the podcast. Hey, I am your host, Sydnee A., and I am also the author of Everything I Need to Know, I Learned in Go-Go, How a Preacher's Daughter Pole Danced Her Way to Finding Her True Self. I am super excited you guys are all joining us today. I have a really special guest. Her name is Shelby Avann, and I am so excited that she is here with us today. She's a relationship and intimacy coach, and she's also a Reiki healer. As an intimacy coach, Shelby is a professional guide trained in attachment theory, intimacy, and sexuality practices, Tantra, kink, and Reiki, who helps individuals enhance their emotional, physical, and relational connections. And I cannot wait to see what she has to teach us today. So please welcome Shelby. Yay, Shelby.
There she is.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, we lost Shelby and we're just getting started. So welcome. I'm so happy to have you with us today. And
it's going in and out a little bit already.
I noticed that. I'm so sorry. We're in different countries, so everyone bear with us as we're going through international internet services here.
And rain. It's raining here. It's kind of crappy weather.
Oh, we've had that for like a week. So I'm actually really excited to talk to you about maybe practices to help us deal with the emotional issues that come along with that. But I'm really interested in the intimacy coach part because I'm not really sure what exactly that is, but also I want to know how you got to this part of your career. Like, you don't wake up, like when they ask kids in kindergarten, what do you want to be when you grow up? I've never heard anyone say an intimacy coach. So there has to be steps along the way. And I would love if you could share with us like a little bit of your background and how you got to the place where you are now.
Okay. Well, the intimacy coaching side of things is actually one of the newer aspects of what I'm doing. It's always been an interest of mine, but it hasn't really come out until probably really last year. But the way I kind of started working with clients and not doing coaching right away, I started with Reiki. So I was doing energy healing. I started it because I wasn't feeling good. And then a friend of mine asked if I wanted to try it out. And I said, sure, that sounds good. And then I had this really magical experience with it. It was really, really cool. It's something I had never experienced before. I had all these kind of like feelings and sensations and like heat flowing through my body and then cold in some places. And then I felt like tingles and these bars of light. And it was really, really interesting as for the experience that I had. And then she was also getting these intuitive messages that kind of came along with everything. So she was my best friend at the time. So I hadn't told her what was kind of going on in my life yet about those things. And she was kind of pulling some of the stuff out. And I thought that was really, really cool too. So I ended up wanting to also learn how to do Reiki, and then kind of went on the journey of working with energy and the side of personal growth that's a little bit more with like spirituality. And again, the energy stuff. And then I started moving into some more of the scientific stuff and learning about attachment theory later, where I felt that there were like these gaps along the way when I was doing my healings with people and my Reiki stuff. And I just felt like I was creating more questions, even though the Reiki was helping them heal on an energetic level. But it's just that like with energy, the blockages can come back if you don't actually do the work yourself to heal those things. Like you'll just like re-traumatize yourself or re-hurt yourself kind of. So when I started learning that.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to cut you off. I know exactly what you're saying there. And I definitely want to hear more about it because so I went through a lot of traumatic experiences, and the start of when I was getting Reiki performed on me, I more or less like a lot of things were put into perspective, but I also knew that I had to put work in as well. Because like you said, that for a long time, there were things that I was going through that were just shoved away. And then they start to like resurface without me having never dealt with them. And it essentially had put me into a really traumatic state just last year. And getting Reiki done, and I had an outer body experience. So when you were touching on just those feelings and emotions that you felt and like the warmth, like those effects lasted me over a week. And I was going each session, I would go like 3-4 times a week. It was just an incredible feeling. So I have to applaud you for like what you're doing within that, because it saved my career. And I credit it, I really do, because I couldn't, one, think outside the box. I was just really trapped in my own mind. And I just have to applaud you. Like, it's really incredible that you're able to do that kind of work, because it does help. And it's natural. And like you said, the images and the things that you learn from your experiences put a lot of things in perspective for me. I just had to applaud you. I'm sorry to cut you off on that one, but yeah, it was really incredible experience that I had with it.
Well, I just wanted to ask, because I'm one of those people, I know the word Reiki, but I don't really know exactly what it is. So for people like me, could you just explain like a peripheral on the surface what that means? Because I'm like, yeah, Reiki, I'm familiar with the word, but I don't really know exactly what it is.
Yeah, well, it's universal energy. So, and there's like 3 levels of training that I went through, and in each training you get attuned. So it's basically like you're opening up this energetic channel within your body with the Reiki master that's doing the training for you, and you get attuned to be able to become like a conduit of that energy. And it's the energy that's all around us. It's a universal energy. It's not like, it's neutral. It's not good or bad. It's not religious. It's not anything. It's just like source energy. Yeah. And then we become like a conduit for it so that we can direct the energy to help move it through the bodies and help it to heal. It helps actually, as I'm doing the healing, it'll move through me and helps heal my stuff, as well as also with the clients too. And then it's chakra based. So each chakra in the body is on a certain location, in a certain location, and is attached. Like the root chakra represents your basic needs and safety, and it's like your the bottom of your tailbone, your hips, and down into your legs. And so that's like what's representative of the root chakra. And then each chakra represents other things like that too. And so depending where the blockage is, that's where the energy will go. And then I'll get intuitive messages about if there is a blockage there, like what it could be about, basically. And so that's kind of how it looks. Yeah.
That's really great. Yeah. Thank you for explaining, because I didn't want people to tune out because they don't know exactly what it is. I wanted to have some sort of explanation for people like me. So that is really cool.
And real quick, I just want to give another introduction. We have Shelby on today. Shelby focuses on relationships, and she's an intimacy coach. She's also a Reiki healer. Make sure you give her a follow on her social media. It'll be scrolling throughout the show. And check out her website too, www.shelbyavann.ca. And her Instagram is Intimacy Mistress, and her YouTube channel, SA Relationship Intimacy Coaching. That will be scrolling throughout the show. We have a couple hundred followers watching right now on IG. Thank you, Dad, for checking in. He's a huge fan. He's
Hi, Frankie's
really
dad.
Yeah, he's really big on a lot of stuff that you're mentioning. So I know that he was going to be checking in. My buddy Sam, thanks for checking in. Kirsten, one of my mummer friends, and Jimmy Bond's podcast also checking in. So thank you so much for all that, and I'll let you get back to it.
I absolutely love your intimacy, your Instagram handle. By the way, when I saw that's what it was, I was like, that is perfect. I love that so much. That it is. Remember.
Yeah. I really like it too. I kind of went back and forth on whether or not I should actually have that. I was like, you know what? For the people that it vibes with, like, those are my people. These are the people that I want to be having. Like, I want people that are interested in sex, intimacy, and kink, and they're going to get it.
Exactly. That's why when I saw that, the mental picture was like, I want to connect with her. Yeah, that's so awesome.
The good stuff, the greasy stuff.
Yes. That's Frankie's word of the day. You're going to hear greasy a lot today.
It's very interesting. It's an interesting topic because not a lot of people, obviously, Sid, you had your a previous guest on that was similar to kind of what Shelby's brings to the world, more or less. And it's really cool that we have another guest that can kind of share her side of things, because it's a topic that not everybody is just so outgoing and, talking about. So like I just think that it's really cool that you coming on, doing a live show and going to talk about these things, because it's crazy being an adult, and sex is like one of those things like, oh no, you can't talk about that kind of stuff like you're in church or something. And there's nothing wrong with church, don't get me wrong, but I'm really excited to hear those stories and just kind of like, your point of view on things. And so is the audience. Like, I'm looking right now on Instagram. My dad says, great topic. He also says he had Reiki twice and it was amazing. My dad's a big fan. So I'm looking forward to, being able to talk more about it. So go right ahead, girls.
Yes, I guess just where to pick up after the Reiki stuff. So I like to say also that like Reiki is that intimacy with energy. So I like to bring in like how intimacy can be connected in all the ways that I do things. So there's so many different levels in which intimacy can be achieved. And so Reiki is like this energetic intimacy that we can create. And then it's also very much connected with this emotional intimacy that we have to have with ourselves. So I'm working with not only the energetic body, but also the emotional body, because a lot of the stuff that comes up in Reiki are these like emotional blockages that we've just, like pushed away. And so they're there and they're creating these like stress points in our body that eventually may build or they'll release if we work on them and are able to get rid of them. But yeah, like learning to become more intimate with our emotions and what it is that we need to feel and release. That helps us to become healthier and heal and move that energetic stuff out. So in saying that, that's where like my attachment theory stuff started becoming an interest to me, because I just found that there were certain things that weren't, again, fitting with I wasn't able to give answers to my clients, but then I also didn't understand certain things. Like there were just some blanks of the spiritual realm of personal growth. I felt they just didn't have those answers for me. So I started finding those answers within the realms of learning about attachment theory and more some like nervous system stuff and science-based type things. And all along the way, I've always been interested in sex and sexuality and reproduction, like everything around it. Before I started doing my coaching stuff, I was actually an equine midwife for 8 years. That's amazing. I was bringing baby racehorses into the world. So I was like very much into the side of birthing and like that side of the cycle of life and reproduction and stuff. I really, really enjoyed that. But I really like being able to talk about sex, sexuality, again, the realm of kink. And I just find these are all things that we can, like on our personal growth journey, they really enhance our healing and our growth. And it's like a very, very vulnerable side of the healing too. So I feel like it's almost like this is the top tier, or it is for me at least, of like the depth of vulnerability and intimacy that we can get with ourselves when we start to work on these particular topics.
And I like how you keep saying intimacy with ourselves, because a lot of people, when you hear the word intimacy, you think romantic relationship with a partner, but there is an entire part of us that needs to learn self-intimacy and vulnerability, like you said. So when you are, because I know you are coaching, and I've been listening to you on other podcasts and stuff, like doing my homework. But I know you said that you don't do couples counseling. You only deal with one person at a time. Is that correct?
Yeah. Because usually when couples, I don't know, when I hear about like different couple situations, most of the time they have an opposite type of attachment style. So what I require them to do in order to learn to do the healing, it's going to be different. It's a different regimen, basically. And I also really am not interested in witnessing conflict in my sessions. I'm like, you guys do that. Like, you're here because of conflict. I don't need to see it. I'm going to hear about it. Like, I know I am.
That's really well said. I really like that. And that's well said. And I love that you focus on the individual itself, because, when and like the vulnerability of things, because I know there was a time in my life where when I was going through things, my sex drive was almost non-existent because of a lot of these things that I was having to deal with, and like you said, like with sex and like the self work within, I think is an important part of that, and to have a good healthy sex life with whether it be yourself or whether it be with a partner. I just want to touch on that when you had mentioned that. I think that was good stuff.
Yeah, and that stuff very much relates to, again, the emotional work and the nervous system regulation, because if our body doesn't feel safe, then safety is the number one priority. So it's like, I'm not interested in having sex or reproducing. It's like the number two need, but if safety is not there, like it's not going to happen. So we have to feel that within our nervous system. We have to understand how to bring that emotional regulation to ourselves in order to be able to be present, to want to have and enjoy sex.
And that emotional, physical connection is so much more than people realize. You know, even if you are someone who likes to go out and enjoy sex casually, there's absolutely going to be some sort of emotional attachment, whether that's, you know, not romantically, I'm in love with you, but you're going to have those kinds of energy connections as well, I would assume.
Not with everyone, actually, like depending. So going to the attachment style stuff, there are some people that are the attachment style of more of a like dismissive avoidant attachment.
Okay.
They might not necessarily have that relationship with sex. They might be more likely to have a more casual relationship with sex, and something that's also a lot more dissociated from their emotions, because a dismissive avoidant is more has kind of pushed their emotions a bit further away, and they're like these more lone wolves, like to take, not necessarily lone wolves, but they're like, I'm independent and I can do things on my own. I don't need you for anything. So this is actually more of a like, I just want a pleasure release, but I don't need your connection.
That's I'm glad I brought it up, because see, I was completely wrong on that.
But that's just like a protection strategy too. So it's not like, that's not ideally what you actually want, right? We want this interdependence with people, and we want to actually be able to have that connection, I feel like in sex and physical connections too.
Right, definitely. Just like humans in general, you know. But it also, I think, depends a lot on your place in life too. Like, you know, whether you're in a spot where you're just like, yeah, I'm just here to party and I'm going home, or if you're like actually looking for more of a connection too, could make a difference. So what kind of things do people come to you to learn about? Like they'll find you and say, okay, I need help with fill in the blank.
Well, I mean, usually it's relationship problems of some sort, or they've noticed that there's like a certain pattern that they've been continuing, and like they see it now and they want to do something about it. Or they've been doing some of the other, like, I don't know, some of the regular personal growth work, but now they're interested in diving a little deeper on the side of, again, like sexuality or kink or whatever on that scale of things. So it can be a few different types of things, but usually it seems to be, yeah, like something's not going right with my relationship and I need help.
and that definitely makes sense. And I want to mention a few people are asking where they can find to hire you essentially for your services. Do you do like remote calls and stuff like that, Shelby? Is that something that you can offer out, or does everything have to be in person?
Yeah, no. I do everything I do right now is all online. So
wonderful.
On my website, there is a book-in link.
Awesome.
On there, and for a free call too.
Okay.
If it's something that you're interested in, because I do some stuff. I have a group coaching program starting. I think it's this weekend.
Congratulations!
That's incredible. I know it's within the next week.
That's awesome news. That's awesome news to be hearing that. That's incredible. Well, I'll make sure that we put the once again, the social media links are following the bottom. Make sure you give Shelby a follow on her Instagram, on her YouTube channel, and check out her website for booking information. If you have questions, obviously we're going to be sharing some of the questions that we get coming in at the end of the show for a little Q&A. But yeah, if you were looking for her services, check out her website, check out her social media, and we'll definitely make sure that we get in contact if it's after the show as well.
Awesome. So when it comes to like kink, do people come because they need you to tell them that it's okay that they feel this, that they have this kink, or is it more like how to continue your life enjoying that part of you as well?
I think it's more about they're trying to figure out how to have the conversation of like, these are the things that I want, and how do I actually like talk to people about this, and what's the right way? Or, we have been having this conversation and it hasn't been going well. Like I feel really, really rejected by this, but it's really interesting because depending on how those conversations are going, like kink in itself, it's taboo. It's meant to be taboo. That is the appeal of it. And so when you're having conversations with people, some things people are going to like, some things people aren't, some people are going to be neutral on. And then sometimes things change when you start to get more vulnerable and you actually say, I'm interested in this and here's why. This is why I find it hot. And then that's actually something that really can help open up the conversation more, and just allowing that vulnerability and really, can change things. And it can and then you can potentially start to create some sort of dynamic where it's like, okay, I'm not sure if I want to do this full thing, but maybe we can have a taste of it in this like smaller, like a smaller bite of it in this way. So let's try that. Like, how does that sound? And the thing is, like, sometimes people are also very much like, depending on what it looks like too, because if it's a fetish, sometimes people can want this thing so bad, or they've trained or not trained themselves to want this thing. But like a fetish is different than a kink. A fetish to me is more intense. So the fetish is like it's almost like they need that thing in order to find pleasure or to have an orgasm or whatever. Like it has to be involved. And that can be, I find that can be a little bit harder to deal with if the other partner like really isn't super game for it all the time. So that's kind of also about just being able to recognize that you might need to find the appropriate partner that also really enjoys this thing, because if it's going to be a long-term situation that you want, then that has to be a part of your, filtering factor.
I definitely want to touch on this because I like the vulnerability of it, and just like, and then when you get to a fetish point, it just really clicked with me, because when you're into something, I imagine, like, and the partner, you're obviously having difficulties having the conversation with the partner, and this is in general speaking, coming to you for that kind of guidance on how to bring up the conversation, I think is almost as important as having the conversation, because the approach and the delivery, like it's tough to just go to somebody and say, hey, this is what I want to do, and I'm into this. And it's like, well, hold on a second here. You have to really have that good approach. And that's great to hear that you kind of guide with that, because it's a conversation that can be very difficult, and it could be, relationship ending more or less, if that can happen, if the other person's not game. And the kind of transition to the fetish part of it, it's almost like an opposite of a phobia, like how people are deathly afraid of things. Like with a fetish, it's like you damn, you definitely need this involved in your life, which comes to a level of, I have a friend of mine, I won't say no names. She had this fetish where she liked to be part of like the gangbangs. And she also had a life of, she was a teacher. So she had to be really careful with the way she lived her life. And she's single, and she'd always, like, we had a conversation before about it. And, she said, this is the way I like to live my life, and not many people are okay with it. So I'm just happily single. And I respected the shit out of that decision for her. But yeah, with fetishes, people can get to a term where it's just like, I'm happy alone, more or less.
Yeah, and I think it depends, because like some of the more common ones look like something like, I don't know, I think one of the top ones is probably like a foot fetish. And there's so many different like aspects to that, which are actually really fascinating when you kind of get into it. But the other things that I've seen, which this is the problem that I have with some of this stuff, is that because depending on what it is, like how much it is that you want the thing, and because it feels like a need in something that like the bucket is completely empty, it's completely dry, that when people go about trying to get that thing, they can be very manipulative and very judgy and very pushy and power play and like topping from the bottom. I don't know if people know what that means, but like it's basically taking control when you're supposed to be
the submissive one.
Yeah, submissive.
Okay.
and taking orders. You're not supposed to be trying to control the situation.
Right.
But that's one of the things that I've seen with some of the stuff where it's like, I really want this thing met. I feel like I can have it. And then it just all of a sudden is like this really grabby, like I'm going to get it no matter what it takes. And then it just becomes like the other person feels like you're using me. You are using me and you're manipulating me. And this isn't fucking fun anymore. I don't want to do this. Like, I don't feel like I'm here. Like, I don't feel like a person here. I feel like a kink dispenser, and I'm not game for this.
No, and that's fair. Like, you want everybody to be involved because they want to be, not because they're being manipulated into. And it's funny, I have a couple things that I mentioned in the book that you just mentioned. And one is about how to talk to somebody. Like I didn't have the steps, but I said about bringing up what you're into and don't just assume that your partner's not, because especially if you explain to them why you like that or whatever, they might be more like, okay, I'll try it, rather than just dismissing you. But also the foot fetish thing, I have a whole part in my book about foot fetish guys are my favorite when I used to work, because getting paid to do a champagne court and just get a foot massage for a half an hour for a couple $100, yes, please, anytime.
Sign me up.
Guys. So sending my love out to the foot fetish customers. I miss you guys.
I miss
they
you
were
guys.
Also, I do good foot rubs.
I love that. I'm going to give a couple plugs here for some people that are in the group. We got some great content creators. Carmen, she was actually a guest on my show, the My Crazy Exes podcast. She's really, really awesome content creator. My good man Luis and my good man Wyatt, big fans of the show, big fans of Sid. They're just all coming in to say hello and loving the stuff so far.
Hello.
Everybody on Instagram, Caroline, I see you. My cousin Justin checking in. Dad's still watching. Mama Bear, Dad's still here watching. Once again, make sure you follow Shelby on all of her social media. She's talking about a lot of really, really cool stuff, really interesting stuff today. Make sure you give her follow on all of her social media. It's following on the bottom, and it will be in the description of the show as well. Should we play rapid fire with our guest?
Sure. Are you up for a little rapid fire? Just a quick couple questions, and the first thing that pops into your head, it's nothing serious, I promise.
Okay.
Okay. First up, your social security number. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know that off the top of my head.
I like rapid fire. I feel like it's a nice icebreaker, and it's one of those things where it's like we ask you a question, first thing that comes to your mind, whatever it may be, and then maybe we'll go around the table on some of these. Okay. So here we go. Rapid Fire is brought to you by Learned in Go, the podcast. Make sure you check us out on all podcast platforms. We're doing a live show today. Thank you, everybody, for checking in as well. So first question is going to be, what was the first crystal you were drawn to?
Oh, it's called monk's gold. It's actually a man-made crystal. It's not even technically like a natural stone, but it's like this orange, really sparkly one. I was like, oh, I like that one. Let's do that one.
I love it.
I did not even know there were man-made crystals. See, I'm learning all kinds of things today. I'm loving this.
It's a very informative show. A lot of people are very interested, for sure, in all ways. Second question. This one's for me, and I hope this is okay to ask you. Hopefully, it's applicable. Your favorite hockey team, because I know that you're out in Canada. So
yeah, that doesn't mean anything. I don't follow hockey. I like the women's hockey team, is what I would say.
Let's go.
Let's
great. Go.
Frankie just got hired as the official photographer for our women's league of hockey.
Yep, United Women's Hockey League. I'm a big advocate for women's hockey. I figured I'd just ask. I play hockey, so I guess I'll just see myself out. No, I'm just kidding. Number 3 here.
Favorite song to pole dance to?
Oh, I can't. This is so hard. Favorites are sometimes like the hardest thing for me because it changes all the time.
First one that comes to your mind.
It's something about the devil.
Something about.
I'm going to guess it's not Georgia. The devil went down to Georgia.
The devil went down to Georgia.
It's not that one. Hang on. I have my phone right here. I might be able to find it. But it's something like a devil in the lace dress or something like that. It's something. It might be like that. Steven Rodriguez.
Okay.
Steven Rodriguez. Or something. It's very sexy.
I'm adding it to my Spotify right
Greasy.
now.
I like that. I'll have to put that on during a workout or something. You know what I mean? Maybe if I'm editing photos, I'll throw that bad boy on. Really get me all pumped up.
Yep, the devil wears lace. I got it. Thank you very much. But I agree with that. Like definitely dancing, especially it changes by your mood, by your day.
Yeah.
So I understand that completely.
We'll have to dive more into that after the rapid fire about the about you dancing and stuff like that. I'm sure that you guys have a good conversation. But number 4, what is your favorite book of all time?
I really like. Actually, there's a series. I don't know which book of the series I like, but the author is Jean Auel, and the series is called The Earth Children.
Okay.
And it is just like, I don't know. I find it fascinating. It's technically I guess it would be based off of history, but it's like following these like people when they were still developing, basically. So like cave people, but then also
wow.
it's like it's on the verge of like cave people versus what are we? I can't remember what the genus species is, but it's like the difference of recognizing like the different type of head structure, and then the different types of like they couldn't speak with words at that point. It was all sign language versus like our type of people who speak with words and are very creative and can evolve. And it's just like, it's all aspects of life that they talk about through the whole series. And it's so interesting, like spirituality, hunting, relationship styles, that like there's more open relationship styles there too, which I find really interesting. Anyway, it's like, I don't know, there were so many different things that are super cool in there.
Well,
That
we'll make
sounds
sure we put
really
that out there.
awesome.
That sounds great. We'll put that
I'm
in
like,
the
I know what
description.
I'm reading next. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm all for it. So our final one here is going to be, where would you never visit?
Yep. Even if you were paid $1 million, where is some place you would never ever visit?
I feel like you could always change, but one place that I've actually never been pulled to is India.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Which I feel like there's more dangerous places where it's like you should probably say that instead, but India is not a place that I've been pulled to at all.
It's interesting. I find either you are really, really pulled or not interested, as far as like people that I know. Mm-hmm. And I kind of find like the culture interesting. Like I actually grew up in one of the places I lived growing up had a lot of Indian families. So I was exposed to the culture, which I thought was really fascinating. And the mom bought me my own sari, which was very beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I appreciated that, but I don't really have any desire to go to the country as much as I can appreciate the culture. So I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the only place I ever go to is Wildwood. That's like the only place I ever go to, the Jersey Shore. I'm boring. I gotta get out there more.
I'm glad I traveled in my 20s, because the way like I freak out on airplanes now. So I'm like happy to have traveled when I was younger. But that's really cool. Okay, so that was our rapid fire. Like I said, nothing too serious, just a little getting to know you a little bit more. Yes,
just some greasy fun. That's all.
But like Frankie said, I do want to talk to you more about dancing, because I love that you're doing pole dancing as well. And I'm sure everybody that's followed the show knows I used to as a job, but now I do for workout and just for fun. And you're doing it as a workout too, I believe, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have my pole gear, like my pole sweats on right now, just for specifically for the interview. But I
noticed that immediately. I was like, yay! So yeah. So how did you get into pole dancing? What drew you to that?
I just remember looking. I actually really don't know what the exact beginning part was. I think it was, I just remember that I was interested in it. I was like, ooh, I'm not going to tell mom and dad about this one. And I'm going to go, and take some of these classes. I really liked it. But it probably didn't really fully stick for me until some stuff happened with my family. Like I started, because I think I pole danced for about a year, then took a break, and then started it up again. And then I just got hooked. Like I was just there. I really liked it. I like how strong I was getting. I thought it was really cool. I like the I like contrast of things too. And I think also because it's taboo.
Yes. That makes it definitely more fun.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't think I realized like the kinky side of it on the taboo aspect of it for me. But I definitely was always drawn to that side of it being like, it's, this is kind of taboo, and this is kind of like, it feels naughty, and then it kind of feels like my secret. And then all of a sudden it changed. And I didn't actually want it to be a secret anymore. And I wanted to talk to people about being like, no, look, like pole dancing can also look like this. It doesn't have to be what you initially think of it. And then I was kind of like really strong about wanting to like present pole dancing in a way where it can look a whole bunch of different ways. So it could look very pretty and contemporary and sexy all at the same time. And then now I'm kind of starting to move into you know what? I really like exotic. And this is like this whole other side of things. And this is like, I am ready to go into basically what the stereotype looks like. And I want it to be raunchy, and I want it to be primal, and I want to wear the big 8-inch heels and smack them on the floor and make a scene about it. And I really like that. Like that part I'm really starting to step into now. And I think it's so fun.
I love that. I love all of that energy. It's so awesome. And I was so sad because I was supposed to go today and do my workout, and I've had an injury in my calf, and like I was trying to pretend that it was okay to go today. And then the highway that I need to take to get there was closed. So I said, okay, universe, I'm not going to mess up my calf. I hear you. Like said to go today. But I miss it because it's so energizing, like on top of all of the physical benefits. And I watched your videos. You rock, girl. You are so strong. You are so amazing. Like, I'm like, yay, go Shelby. So people don't understand the amount of physical strength it takes to do it. Like, it's a really awesome workout. And then on top of that, the way it kind of feeds your soul, whether you're doing it raunchy or you're doing it sexy or you're doing it pretty, you can definitely feed different parts of your soul through.
Yeah. Well, it's a huge emotional release. Like that's one of the things that really, really, I think sold it to me later. Cause I started actually the studio owner of my home studio. She kind of pushed me to do some classes with one of the best instructors that we had there. And I was also doing like an exchange with them. So I would work at the studio and then get like free pole credits and stuff like that. So I would work on the nights that this instructor was there. It's just like, yeah, like if, once you sign everyone in, you can just join the class. I'm like, okay, cool. Nice. So I would do that. And then she did a lot of choreo, and she was like, she's good. She's just very, very good. So I got very strong, and I was there a lot at that point in time. Also because there was a lot of stuff going on in my life that was not great. So I was using pole as an outlet for my emotions and for that community. And I didn't want to be home, to be honest. So I was kind of like, this is my other space right now. Yeah. Yeah. So I got really good at it, and I really, I think it just became like that thing that, and it's not, I don't want to say it saved me, but it was like, it's definitely like the biggest outlet for me, where I see that it's, it's my creativity, it's my emotions, it's my sexuality, all expressed in one way. And I really like that.
Yeah, I can relate to that so much. Like, I'm like, you are saying exactly how I feel about it as well. And it's funny because I was all self-taught on the job training, I guess, so I'm almost to the point now where I could do my routine in my sleep because I've been doing it for 20 something years. So part of me would love to take a class to learn new ways to move on the pole from the ones that I've been doing forever. But it's funny, there's the places around here. I noticed like the spinny poles scare me. I don't know if I could do the ones with the poles that spin, just because I've always done stationary poles, and it's a whole new lesson in centrifugal force. I'm afraid I'll go flying out my window.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the spin pole either, but I do like, I like that there are certain things that there are certain shapes that look really, really nice, where if you were just on a static pole, it was kind of like, oh, okay, cool. But now this adds this depth of, I don't know, like a visual appeal to it. But yeah, some of the things where it's like, okay, and we're going to spin and then bring ourselves in to get to the next thing. And then I'm kind of like, I can't get to the next thing. I'm going so fast. Just stick a leg or arm out to slow myself down. Yeah. So it's spin pole's hard.
Right. And I give you so much credit for being able to do that. Cause like you said, there's certain things like you can't move at a certain slower pace on a stationary pole. You're just going to hang there. Like, okay. Yeah. Cause I did a video after J-Lo did the Super Bowl halftime, and everybody was losing their minds cause there was a pole on the Super Bowl.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah. She's freaking a rock star. She is amazing. Yeah. So I was like, okay. And I did a little video where I showed her spinning on the spin pole, and then me just like hanging there on the regular pole, like trying to recreate J-Lo when you don't have a spinning pole, like just a little funny video. But it's really like, I'm very like, at what you can do. Cause I'm very simple in my pole tricks. So
Cool. Okay.
but that's really awesome. Cool. So Frankie, did you have any, what about your pole dancing experience, Frankie? Have you
Well,
have you ever
crazy
pole
enough.
danced?
So no, I never have. More of a hockey stick kind of guy. But my sister. So I'm one of 8, Shelby. So I have 7 sisters.
Okay.
One of them was going to be a pole dancer, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I had one sister that was good that became pole dancer for a little bit. And a funny story, like all my friends, of course, would just jump at me. Oh, bro, we're going to see your sister tonight. I'm like, listen, thank you for helping her financially. It really means a lot to me. So I have more of a funny side of it, but more or less, like I think everybody kind of gets into pole dancing with their own way and their own reasoning, and I love hearing your reasoning behind it and what it's been able to do for you, and I think it's incredible. So I'll definitely applaud you on that one. I've never pole danced though. Just never. I gotta find the time. Realistically,
Yeah.
girls, I gotta find the
Well,
time. I mean,
Well, I
that's
just
what it
turned
is.
49 a couple weeks ago, and my husband said that we can get an at-home pole. So I'm excited. That's my birthday present. I don't have it yet, but I guarantee you, Frankie will be over here pole dancing
I'll do.
on my.
Yeah, I'm all about the content. So I do photography, video work, and like marketing. So that's kind of like what I do for my business. So I'll set up some couple cameras. We'll get some content down.
We'll get some. We'll call that blackmail. Frankie on the pole. Be like, oh, all these hockey players. You want to see?
Well, crazy enough, we have 3. We had 3 former NHL hockey players actually watching the show today. So that was kind of ironic that you mentioned that. Tons of them right now. My buddy Chase is in here. I did photography for his team before. Legs, what's going on? Yeah, got some good hockey players in right now. Thanks for taking it in. But yeah, great show so far. Once again, I want to just give another plug. We have Shelby on. Make sure you follow her on all of her social media accounts. We'll have them in the description if you ever want to have a conversation with her. A lot of people are asking where they can find you. So it seems like the Q&A seems like a lot of personal stuff that people don't want to put out there, which I love and respect. Thank you for just enjoying the show, and thank you, Shelby, for being a part of this, because it seems like a lot of questions are probably one-on-one. So hopefully that brings a lot of traction your way.
Do you have an anonymous way of them asking the questions?
Unfortunately, if they were to make their name anonymous, then because like the comments can come on obviously on screen, but they're more or less just their name will be shown.
It without putting the comment on the screen? Can you just read the question but not post the comment?
That's up to them if they want to.
Okay.
So
I'm open to answering questions if people want to ask them. If they can ask it in an anonymous type way, like I still need details on certain things. So I can only do so much a certain amount of details.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's one of those things where it's going to drive a lot of attention for people reaching out to you one-on-one, which is great, because we want people are very interested in what you're doing and are looking to hire you, and rightfully so, because the conversation has been incredible. And once again, we got to thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this with us, this wonderful live stream. Greasy kid stuff. I had my buddy Y, one of my content creators. It's all good. You're not gonna understand. It's okay.
I don't get it.
It's another way of saying, like, that's hot. Like what we're talking about. I told you, people are gonna get excited about this show. It's great content. It's a good thing. It's what the kids are. It's what the kids are saying.
It's what the kids are saying. That's why I don't get it. I've aged out of greasy, I guess.
I'm just thinking, like, as you talk about the hockey stuff, I'm just thinking of like the greasy, like, mullet hair.
Yes.
For hockey players, like the dirty stashes and stuff. But,
how am I supposed to feel right now?
That sounds like a kink.
Like, yeah, my hair is look at me, my hair is flowing. I got the flow going, but the greasy mustache, I don't know about that one.
I think I like hockey for me is a lot more like high school type like mindset for me. So that's like I'm a little bit more thinking of like the young high schoolers or 18-year-old hockey guys that are like all what I just described.
Crazy enough, we had a couple of those young lads in my juniors guys I do photo work for that are like that 18, 19, 28. So they were
I was going to say they better be 18 or older listening to this.
Well, yeah, of course. But what was I going to say? So if you don't mind me asking, and we won't have to spend any time on hockey, but what local professional team is near you where you live at in Canada?
Oh, local. I mean, the Maple Leafs, Toronto Maple Leafs would be the
Toronto
closest
Maple
ones.
Leafs. Yeah.
You know what? You know what's cool about this? Like, I don't really. Again, I don't even talk about hockey, but I find it so funny and cool all at the same time that like the Leafs fans seem to be like they're so diehard and they just. And they just suck. Like
They're outrageous.
They just don't do. They never get very far. Sometimes they kind of do, but
I love it. I love it. I'm gonna clip this part because I have a hockey podcast. I'm gonna get her on the show to talk hockey with us. I love it. I love it. Well, once again, make sure you follow Shelby on all of her social media. Reach out to her. Set up a time to talk, and definitely inquire about her services. She's got incredible things. She's helping a lot of people with a lot of different things. So we'll start to do the wrap up if need be.
Well, I was going to ask too, is your freebie still available? Because we were talking earlier about yes, no, maybe stuff. Is that still? Okay. I wanted to make sure you had a chance to plug that
too. Tell us about that. Where
okay. I don't know whether I didn't hear the ending of that, but it's a yes, no, maybe list. So it's yes, no, maybe list, intimacy checklist, basically. So there's 2 columns on there. One's based on emotional intimacy. The other is about physical intimacy. And so it's a freebie on my website. You just have to subscribe, and then it's like a little checkbox that you have to click and open. And then you can print that off, fill that out, and send it to or share it with your partner or whoever. And then at least it can be something that like can start a conversation, and then you can add to it and dive deeper into creating more intimacy with your partner and yourself and understanding yourself better and all the things.
I love that because sometimes it's easier to write things
all the
down,
things. I love it
out loud. So it gives you that tool to just feel it. You can even just tape it on the bathroom mirror so they see it in the morning when they get up.
Yeah.
Check this out, and then we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
You'll post it note.
Yeah. And then I just want to say one other thing. So like for anyone that does have questions, I'd encourage you to either you can message me on my Instagram or on my contact form on my website. Either one of those options are great. But if you're actually interested in doing one of my programs, then book a call in. But the call is specifically like if you actually want to buy something from me, that's what that's for. But if you have other questions, then do it in in one of the other ways.
I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great to have that information. And we'll make sure that we put all that in the description of the show once we upload it. And once again, Shelby, we want to thank you for joining us today. Lots of good topics, even a little sports talk. But once again, make sure you follow Shelby on her social media, her website. You just heard a little bit of the details, and we'll make sure we clip that part and we get that out there immediately. But Shelby, thank you so much for doing this.
Yes, thank you. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, no problem. It was very engaging. I like doing this. I like having some of the live stuff. It's fun.
Definitely.
Well, let us know if we can ever do anything for you. Sydnee, you want to finish us off before we head out?
Yeah, and I just wanted to thank everybody that joined us live. Thank you for your comments and your questions. Thank you, Frankie's dad, and for popping in so many times. And as I always like to end the show by saying, when you're having trouble in your life, make sure you take it head on, because when you stick your head in the sand like an ostrich, you think you're hiding from the world, but everybody else just sees a big ass. Have a great day. Love you guys.
Love you.